Hi, good day my dear grade 7 students. So how are you today? I'm hoping that all of you are doing fine and safe at home. So for now, we're going to discuss about angle pairs formed by perpendicular lines and intersecting lines. Okay now class, let us closely examine each figure below and then illustrate the ways lines intersect. As you would notice, in the figures 1 and 3, it shows a pair of lines that form a pair of acute angles and a pair of obtuse angles. Such lines are called intersecting lines. Figure 2 shows a pair of lines that form 90-degree angles. These lines are also intersecting lines but are particularly called perpendicular lines. In symbols, ray Fi is perpendicular to ray Hj. When two lines are perpendicular, the subsets of these lines, rays and segments, are also perpendicular. Since ray Fi is perpendicular to ray Hj, it follows that line segment GF is perpendicular to line segment GJ. GJ is perpendicular to GI, and GF is perpendicular to GH, and GH is perpendicular to GI. So these are some of the rays and segments that are perpendicular to each other. Now, let us have different terminologies that we may encounter in identifying different angle pairs. Let us have adjacent or adjacent. When we say adjacent, these are two angles that have common side. While if it is vertical, these are two angles if they are non-adjacent and formed by two intersecting lines. Also, the sides of one angle are the opposite rays of the side of the other angle. And when we say linear pair, so two angles form a linear pair if they are adjacent and the non-common sides are opposite rays. Well, when we say complementary angles and supplementary angles, these are angle pairs whose relationships are based on the sum of their measures. So in this, we need to recall that a protractor is used to determine the measure of an angle in degrees. Let us use the figures 1 to 6 to show different angle pairs. For example, you're asked to determine the vertical angles using the figure 1. So the name of the angles are angle ABC and angle DBE. While if you are asked to name adjacent angles using the figure 1, we have angle ABC and angle CBD. While if you are asked to name an angles in linear pairs, so you have here angle ABC and angle CBD. Now class, for example, you are asked to name adjacent angles in the figure 5, figure 1, and figure 6. So in figure 5, the adjacent angles are angle TUV and angle VUW. While in angle 1, the adjacent angles are angle ABC and angle CBD. While in figure 6, the adjacent angles are angle XAY and angle ZAY. Now, if you are asked to name the vertical angles in figures 1 and 3, so in figure 1, the vertical angles are angle ABC and angle DBE. Another is angle ABE and angle CBD. While in figure 3, so the vertical angles are angle KLM and angle OLN. Then if you are asked to name the linear pair angles in figure 1, 2, and 3, so we have angle ABE and angle DBE in figure 1, while in figure 2 we have angle JGI and angle HGI. While in figure 3 we have angle KLO and angle NLO. Okay class, let us have now the complementary angles and supplementary angles. Wherein, it is said, or we can use the figure 7. So the degree measure of angle POQ is 30 degrees, written as M angle POQ is equals to 30, wherein M means the degree measure. Hence, there is no need to put the degree symbol as 30. So here are the following measures of the other angles in figure 7. So we have measure of angle VOS is equals into 30 degrees. Measure of angle POR is equals into 70 degrees. Measure of angle QOR is equals into 40 degrees. Measure of angle ROS is equals into 20 degrees. Measure of angle POT is equals into 110 degrees. Measure of angle TOU is equals into 40 degrees. Measure of angle UOV is equals into 30 degrees. And the measure of angle QOV is equals into 120 degrees. Let us use the figure 7 to determine the measure of the angle. For example, you are asked to measure the angle ROU. So using the figure 7, you would notice that the measure of angle ROU is 80 degrees. Well, if you are asked to measure the measure of angle QOS, so that is 60 degrees. If you have the measure of angle POS, that is 90 degrees. And the measure of angle POU, that is 150 degrees. Remember, class, that the sum of measures of two complementary angles is 90 degrees. So using the figure 7, angle VOT and angle TOS are complementary angles. Complementary angles are not necessarily adjacent. Then, class, remember also that the sum of the measures of two supplementary angles is 180 degrees. So using the figure 7, we have here three pairs of supplementary angles such that angle VOS and angle SOP, angle VOT and angle TOP, angle POR and angle ROV. So two or more angles with equal measures are also called congruent angles. So using the figure 7, we have here three pairs of congruent angles such that angle VOU and angle VOQ, angle BOT and angle POR, angle VOS and angle POS. In simple words, when angles are congruent, they have the same amount of opening. So thank you for listening. I hope you had new learning for today. If you do have questions, please do not hesitate to ask your teachers. Again, thank you and God bless.